Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin, and I'm so grateful that you took a moment out of your day to spend it with me, your guide to all things crypto and DeFi. This may be your last chance to load up before alt season takes off. Now, I don't want anyone to start, selling their kidney to buy Degen altcoins right now, but wait till later and you will understand what we're going to talk about. The video title tells you I am very ETH heavy. And we're going to go over some breaking news concerning foreign crypto exchanges in the US, especially perpetual futures like Weeks and Blowfin, who we have been partnered with. If you took a look at crypto bubbles, has gone absolutely crazy today. 54% gains. So everything we're going to talk about today is things that are going to help you prepare for a potential September to October shakeout, but also what we believe will be the breakout and the final phase of the bull run. So before we begin, please smash that like button. Tell me what you're holding in the chat, and let's jump straight into some charts today. Now, what I want to talk about first is take a look at Bitcoin is sitting right now at about 112,500. Took a Bitcoin long and that we let our free Telegram group know at around 111 and 8, I think. And we are around, position looks pretty decent. We also took some other shorts. No, not shorts. We took another long in the market. And want to know what that one is? Join our free Telegram group. Before we go any farther, remember that nothing on this channel is financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. So taking a look at Bitcoin, you can see all of my levels within the chart that we have been keeping up with. Now Bitcoin is basically still range bound, kind of between 110K and 124K. Now, just to get right down to my main ideas, I believe that Bitcoin and the crypto market is going to make another attempt at the all-time high. Now, I do not think we'll necessarily break through the all-time high, but I think we're going to at least get back up to 117, touch the top right here on the chart, or maybe even higher, 119.8 to 120K. We get up to that point, I will be taking tons of profit on especially any longs that I have. And just going to have to wait and see if we can regain support on this 117,200 region right here. Now, I see, as I've been telling people within my groups and on my channel, that I still believe we're going to face a dip come September and October. And I am slowly positioning for that. That is why during any preceding pump that is about to happen, I am going to take profits. You should take profits too. It is the right thing to do when the market is pumping. And I don't mean selling out all of my positions, but having some dry powder on the side is never a bad thing, whether you're a trader, a DeFi investor, or just a hodler. Everyone needs some cash on the sides to take advantage of some of those market dips. All right. Anyway, I want a cleaner Bitcoin chart that doesn't have all these support lines drawn on it. Hold on one second. I'm going to just pull up the Binance chart. Now, what I want to take a look at is a couple indicators. And we're going to bring up the bull market support band, which is the 20-week simple moving average and the 21-week exponential moving average. Bitcoin tends to honor the bull market support band. Now, if you really want to know what Dad is going to be looking at towards the end of the market cycle, I am going to be looking at the bull market support band and the 50-week moving average. During the last couple of cycles, as Bitcoin hit the end of the bull run, we broke below the bull market support band right here, and it became resistance. Now, the end of the bull run, if you really want to take a look at this, and let's put the 50 week on here and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Well, let's do this one. This will be perfect. All right. So the yellow line right here, that's the 50 week moving average. We're going to zoom back out and go back in to last market cycle. Okay. Here was the exact end of the bull, November 8th. And we were FOMOing into positions we shouldn't have been FOMOing into, ruining most of the profits we made last cycle with Solana. The bull market support band did not break right away. It is very difficult to time the tops of the market. And that is why in this space, you have to dollar cost average out. So hopefully if you were around last cycle, you were taking profits here and here and here, here. Still had not taken all of our profits and we're holding on. We were given a warning right here, which would be December 20th, right before Christmas of 2021. And we failed to break the bull market support band. What do you notice? Right here, we broke below the 50-week moving average, and we broke below a lot. Not only that, after we broke below on the weekly, by the way, and I should have said that in the beginning, you have to look at these on the weekly charts, okay? Here in a minute, I'll take a look at the comments because I don't have them up right now if there's any in there. But what do you notice? The 50, which is right here, after we went below the 50 on the weekly and we attempted to get back up, we failed right here. We went down. We attempted to break through the 50 again right here, and we did right on March 28th. And then what happens? We fail to break below, or excuse me, above the week moving average, and you get this. Even if you hadn't sold all the way out at that point, I mean, you were looking at decrease that you could have avoided. First being the first dip after the bull being about 50%. And then we had a pump back up. It wouldn't surprise me if you see market movements like this again. So it can be extremely difficult to know when it's the end of the cycle. It's extremely difficult to time the top. It is not difficult to take some profits along the way. Lesson for today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what I want to take a look at now is go back to the current Bitcoin chart, and we are flirting with the bull market support band, as you can see on the weekly. Now, I'm going to take the chart down to the daily. I'm expecting Bitcoin on the daily sometime over the next 20 to 40 days to tag the bull market support band, maybe even break below it a little bit. We have to keep an eye on this. Those guys out there telling you and screaming that the cycle is over, I would only believe them if I can see Bitcoin break below this, the bull market support band, and at the same time fail to get back above it. So these are just a couple indicators that you can throw in your bag and, make sure that you're keeping on them. There's many other things that we can look at, but these are two that I believe are extremely important. Okay. All right. We're going to take a look at Ethereum, since that's what this video is mostly about. And we've talked about this a lot in the past, right? Ethereum is looking so strong right now, in my opinion. If I zoom in, even on the daily, you can see we have, watch this, on the daily, it looks really bullish. A higher high, a higher high, a higher high. And here, higher high, and then we have a downtrend for a little bit. What I would like to see is that no matter how far we go back down, that we get another higher high at some point. Now, I will say this. If we get that September and October correction, if we get that correction, I believe that Bitcoin will start to outperform ETH again. Okay. So I can't predict the future. I can watch the Bitcoin chart and the Ethereum chart. And if Bitcoin starts to dump and Bitcoin starts to struggle, I think that a lot of the altcoin market and Ethereum market is going to bleed right back to Bitcoin, just like it has been doing. That is why during this next pump, again, this is just how I'm playing it. I'm going to be taking profits, not all of my bags, but a nice amount of profit from some of my altcoins and definitely from my ETH. During that time, I'll probably apply that capital just into some stable lending positions, probably just simple using Aave, and set it aside until I'm ready to deploy back into mostly ETH and then probably some large cap aughts and a few mid plays. Ethereum looking super strong, stronger than the market cycle. That doesn't mean that we're not going to bleed back to BTC. Ethereum has outperformed. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute. You can't go up forever. It does not work that way. We want to see at least some cool-offs and corrections in the market, because if we don't, we're going to just have our blow off top now. I don't want that yet. The longer we stick around, the longer the bull market's going to last. And that tends to be what's going to happen within any market, whether we're talking about stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate, it doesn't matter. And this is my special chart because this is the chart, in my opinion, that's going to help you determine how strong Ethereum is and how close we are to the altcoin season that everybody has been talking about forever, including myself. And that is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. So if you don't know this one, you need to put this one into your repertoire. All right, so this is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. It's been on a massive downtrend, and I have been preaching to all of you all for months that the market will feel better once Ethereum breaks out of its multi-year downtrend, as you can see here on this chart. That's why I put the Ethereum snake right here. Once we can get above and stay above the 0.038 level, that's how much, Bitcoin per Ethereum is showing much more strength than Bitcoin. And if I zoom in on the chart, we've been showing strength since the bottom. And the bottom really was 0.017. And I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong. I started purchasing ETH around the 0.05 level, somewhere in between here. And we started going in heavy. And then what happens? This is why timing is so important in the market. We went in at 0.05 a lot and dollar cost average. And what are we doing? We're dollar cost averaging on the way down. If we just would have maintained in Bitcoin, we could have saved 60%, almost 70%, 68%. Sorry, did not see that right. But 68% all the way to the bottom, we would have been better off dollar cost averaging Bitcoin. Thank God we were farming our ETH and earning fees to make up for some of that. But the impermanent loss was ridiculous, right? It's something to think about, those of us who are playing in the DeFi playground. And it's also good for traders, because it would have gone long anywhere around here, you were screwed. So this market can stay bearish way longer than you can ever imagine. And this market can stay bullish way longer than you can ever imagine. And those are things to consider if we're going to stay around for the entire market cycle. So I'm going to be keeping big eye on this 0.038 level. Stay marked on my chart. I have alerts on my phone. And I also am hoping that when an ETH corrects, we hopefully don't break down below 0.035. And then our lowest part is right in the middle of our downtrend, which is 0.03. As I said in the beginning, 0.03 is going to be ETH Bitcoin's line in the sand. If we maintain that, we're good. Other charts that you can look at to get a kind of a eye or a view of how the alt season are the total 3 index. I want to hopefully we stay at $1 trillion mark, but I don't know. We have been flirting with this quite a bit. The more you're not establishing good support above that line, and that's on the daily. I go to the weekly. I'm pretty sure it looks even worse, right? We could go back down in this between 940 billion and 1 trillion. By the way, the total 3 is all of the cryptocurrency markets minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, if you want to get real Jenny, go to the others index. That takes out all the large caps, and you're looking at, well, not all large caps, but all the ones that aren't the biggies. If you take a look at the others chart, this is kind of like your Degen season chart. We are above the bull market support band, but I'm expecting us to break support, at least on the weekly, on the daily. But if we get this big correction come September or October. Now, before we move on, let's take a look at some bull market signals. We do this every stream. And that's why if we have this hopeful pump that should happen, hopefully, I would like to sell some of my large caps. Maybe probably some small caps too, for that matter. But if you've been over on my webpage, you already know what we're going to be talking about. And if you want to get the information first, I would consider joining my Telegram group and private group on the website. That is the easiest way to get instant information from me. And then second, you can always follow us on X at CryptoZone1013 because I post most of my stuff over there also. Although I do have some news I'm talking about today that I have not posted on X yet. This is the one I really wanted to talk about today, though, is chart number 12, which I've talked a lot before, the Altcoin Season Index. I've talked about it a lot, and I don't think I've gone in enough detail about a couple things. But I wanted to point out that we are 78% the way into you need to start selling because we're in alt season. That's actually pretty hot. And that doesn't surprise me because Ethereum, and especially some of the Ethereum betas, have really run. Part of the reason I want to talk so much about Ethereum betas is because if we get this dip that I hope we get, you will have a good opportunity to into the that you are most bullish on, that share relationship to the Ethereum network. Now, understand that if you stay in beta plays and we have a huge dip, they are going to bleed more than Ethereum. So if your altcoins can't keep up with Ethereum, there's no sense really being in those altcoins. You're earning yield other ways. Likewise, a lot of investors in this space would say, why be in Ethereum if Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum? Something to think about. All right, but the all-season index, it does make me nervous. It being in the 78% range, people are concerned about a correction. It is something to think about. I want to point out this one. Short-term holder supply is going up. That means we're getting more retail investors, traders in the market. When this number goes up, the market tends to be way more volatile. Not always, but usually. So the fact that the short-term holder supply has gone up so much and is getting close to hit, that is a little bit of a concerning factor. But there's many others that aren't hitting just yet. Now, the CBBI which is their bull run index. That one's pretty high. So we're kind of half and half. That does make me nervous short term. The CFTC, which is the Commodity and Futures Commission, they deal with all futures and commodity trading within the United States. They have clarified the FBOT rules, and that's awesome. Clear FBOT rules mean exchanges that were in America and left can come back. And it also means that foreign exchanges could operate in America with clarity, which our government did not give many in the crypto space since the beginning. They've clarified these rules to expand global market access for U.S. traders, and they want to create a legal pathway for offshore exchanges. You're probably going to see a lot more apps open up where you don't have to use a VPN anymore. And we have a new partnership coming up very soon with an exchange, so we should be able to offer some really, really good deals and rewards, but that is coming in the near future. And there's some good reward deals going on with Blowfin right now. So if you'd like to support the channel and you want to get into trading, be careful with your leverage, of course. Check out the link in the description. But the Commodities and Futures Trading Commission introduced these new guidelines, and this should help bring more liquidity into the markets. That means U.S. traders should have a broader access of crypto assets and exchanges to trade with. Now, talking about exchanges, I want to talk about an important rule that most crypto investors ignore. You must learn how to use a hardware wallet. And even if you're going to do DeFi, you're going to have to learn hot wallets also. But I never keep large amounts of capital on crypto exchanges except what I'm trading. And sometimes I use some on and off ramps to dollar cost average into certain assets. But I do not keep them on the exchanges. I don't try to earn yield on the exchanges. I withdraw and deposit those into my hardware wallets. The only money that stays on exchanges is USDC to move around, and any trading that I'm doing on Weeks, Blowfin, and the new exchange that we will talk about in just a few weeks. Now, I see this as bullish because it's going to bring more liquidity into the market. But let's move on to our next piece of news, which is Pyth. Now, we do have a small Pyth position. We're probably going to sell it out on this pump. Not financial advice, of course. But Pyth Network has skyrocketed. If we go back to quick crypto bubbles, 54%. Look at that. That is a nice pump. Now, why did this happen? It skyrocketed because the government has given it the green light for on-chain data distribution. This is big. This means that economic data and on-chain data and American GDP is going to be put on the blockchain. This is awesome because it's going to be more transparent. And for those Pyth holders out there, that's awesome because you've gotten a nice pump today. I would take some profits, but that's me. The data feeds are already live across all of these other blockchains. So now this is bullish. You cannot have on-chain activity, DEX trading, DeFi, lending, liquidity providing, yield farming. All that stuff requires oracles. Oracles are Chainlink and Pyth. This is not a promotion of Pyth by any means, but I do see this as big news, and we are very bullish on Chainlink. Here in the near future, we're going to be coming out with a Chainlink deep dive. We are still very bullish on this one, but that'll be, if you want to read the article, that one is already on Dad's DeFi Space, video coming out soon, so check that one out. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you got value from this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. I drop a new strategy or portfolio updates or something every week. You'll find the link in the description below. And if you're just starting out, check out our free crypto and DeFi crash course at Dad's DeFi Space. It's the best way to build your foundation. And I'll see you in the next video. And remember, DeFi is the new financial frontier, and in crypto and DeFi, education is your best friend. Take care. Peace.